Joe Kersey here on January 15th, Tuesday. It's about 14:35 in the afternoon Eastern time, but in the UK it's 5 hours ahead, so it's like 19:35 British time. And they've locked the doors on a division on the final vote on this EU leaving agreement. I've been watching this off and on all day, this debate, and the one amendment that they still moved was defeated 600 to 24. So they're getting ready to have the tellers come up and announce the results here. This is on the UK Parliament TV site, which, I'll tell you, it's great to watch, and I highly recommend people watch it on Wednesdays to watch the Prime Minister's Question Time. You can watch it live, which is fun, or you can watch it on delay, because the feed is such you can zoom back and forth on the feed. And I think they're getting the tellers coming down there now to see what's going on. This is a real up close and personal legislature, I'll tell you. Be interesting to see if the U.S. House of Representatives operated this way.
Order! Order!
There's the tellers.
The ayes to the right, 202. The noes to the left, 432. The ayes to the right, 202. The noes, order! The ayes to the right, 202. The noes to the left, 432. So the noes have it, the noes have it. Unlock! On a point of order, the Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the House has spoken and the government will listen. It is clear that the House does not support this deal, but tonight's vote tells us nothing about what it does support.
And so forth.
Nothing about...
Well, Paul's here, and he's doing his laundry. Came up just after the vote was concluded. So he's down putting his clothes in the dryer. I'm telling some hotel stories. Loved watching this whole UK Parliament process unfold. It's far more direct than we have here in the U.S. Congress on one level. On the other hand, it's far more indirect in that the government, which is also part of the legislature, which is not a function of, you're either in the legislature or in the executive of our country. You can't be member of both. That's the major difference. If the executive in the United States were to try to manipulate the legislature the way that happens in the UK, there'd be just all sorts of god-awful hell to pay. Anyway, it's been fun, and Paul came up just at the end of it to do his laundry, which is great, because I haven't seen him for a while. Is all well down there?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, I'm going to put you on the table.
Turned off just when I got down.
I'm sorry. Oh, also you got down there just at the moment.
Just as it was stopping.
Just at the moment.
He started playing its happy music.
Oh, it always does make a little sound, and it has a little Samsung sound.
Look, it's chilly down.
Yeah, no kidding, it's full down. Did you happen to notice the temperature on the thermometer down there on the
No, I didn't look.
on one of the dead washing machines down there?
Remind me when I go down there
It typically, it seems never to get below 42.
a half hour from now.
Well, 42 is sort of like the temperature of the, you have the freeze zone that goes down to about 4.5 feet. Okay, and then after that, then the temperature stays somewhere just above 40, down to wherever it gets really hot, I guess.
With the ground, you got to get your water lines like about
Well, the
40
water.
inches.
Yeah, the
down.
water line level here
About
in Ohio is 4.5 feet. Now in North Carolina.
I'm talking says water lines don't freeze.
No, I
They
know.
gotta be so low.
That's what I mean, the freeze line. And so in North Carolina, though, I mean, you can dig down. I think it's just a little over 3 feet. To get down to the freeze line. So to get below the freeze line for your water lines. I mean, it's so sandy in some parts of the state you can almost dig that crap out with your hand. That's why they bury so many of their relatives out in the side yard. Which I think we ought to. Well, it's hard to do that here in the clay soil here of Ohio. But it'd make a lot more sense than going to all this funeral hoo-ha.
Yeah. And have to buy.
Just get them burned up and put in a can, and then bury the can out somewhere in the side yard. I mean, what's wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that. I think it's charming, frankly.
I remember an old farm up along Africa Road. They had a little cemetery.
Yeah, but that was
Out this high.
but that was like an official township or church cemetery. Every cemetery in the state of Ohio is registered with the Attorney General's office.
Oh, I thought it was just on the guy's farm.
Well, no. Well, he if it's there and it's been taken cognizance of by any of the authorities, there's been a plat of it filed with the Attorney General's office. And you go in and you find all that stuff.
Well, how it's all been tore down and they put new stuff out.
But the cemetery hadn't been dug up, has it?
Can't tell it's so overgrown.
Well, then that pretty much means it hasn't been. I mean, that's a good
on
sign.
that side of the 71, and you be right there on the
Oh
right.
yeah, no. There's a bunch of Kerseys in Warren County buried in these kinds of makeshift just walk out in the side side bit of the field and bury them things.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to go down and brave going into the security of the state of Ohio Attorney General's office to look at the cemetery plats from Warren County and Clinton County to see if you can find family names. You'd probably be treated as a threat to the Mike DeWinian.
I have family buried in Jackson County.
Well, yes.
Oh, my grandmother, Dad's mother said it one day down there.
Was that the
She
Clara?
was talking. Yeah, she was talking to Jess.
Yeah.
And they started talking, and that's how I found out somehow we're related to him.
Pre or post renal failure. It was always hard to tell with her. She was a lot of fun to talk with. I still love that. One of my favorite stories of your family. And you guys drove down there to Florida, God knows where, and put her in the
Brought her back of a pickup.
well, put her in the back of my pickup truck. Thank you very much. And you would bring the very nice cushion or curtain around the back end of it too.
Yeah, we took the
You took the-
chase thing off of Dad's back porch.
Yeah, you had the 79. It was a 79 F-250.
Yeah.
And I was like, you and who else? Was it Randy?
Randy.
He's now dead, I think, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly. He's a nice guy. And then who was it? You and who else?
Dad.
And your dad. Yeah, your dad. Yeah. And then you traded off driving and fetched your dad's mother. Who when
Brought her back here and put her in the bedroom here.
down at Obad's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you went in and said what was wrong with her and everything. And Mom said, don't worry about it. We'll get a doctor in here to check her out.
Oh, you sort of sped up. You sort of compressed the story,
that
but
night?
no, it wasn't that night. It was actually like a couple of days later, and it was like, the word came out of Obet's that Clara wasn't doing very well, and
I kept saying she needed to dry out because of the way they had her on so much shit.
Well, she was in chronic renal failure, but she wasn't in quite high output chronic renal failure, but she was putting out urine, okay, which is a very survivable state, which is, it turns out, like she lived for another 5, 6, 7 years, didn't she? And
What, longer than that?
well, yes, I said, I mean, she was in a very survivable state, and at the behest of your mother, I went out and looked at her, and as near as I could tell without any lab values or anything, it was very clear that, just from taking a history, that she was in, moderately reasonable output, high, like renal failure, high out. We call that high output renal failure, but it's not a lot of high output stuff. And then your mother said, God bless your mother. She said, and she had that great squint, that ongoing squint, wriggling her eyes and nose and squint. And she says,
on her face.
and she said, I wish we could get a real doctor out to look at her. And I just was delighted to no end.
I just rolled my eyes and shook my head.
That was so much
I'm
fun.
like, what the fuck do you think is standing next to her?
That was so much fun. Oh. Anyway, she did fine. I mean, she's tough as nails. I mean, she's like one of these people like we were talking about the other night, in southern Ohio. You can't kill them with a stick. What finally did her in?
Fuck. She did one of these damn rest homes.
Yeah, but it wasn't like they were neglected. She was in a pretty decent one, actually. Well, I mean, a decent one by standards of welfare in Franklin County, Ohio.
They had her in a wheelchair, and somehow the foot thing had came down in front of her, and she stood up to take off.
And she
and she went
and she
caught
fell,
her feet.
And she fell on her face. That's exactly how Luella Hunter Binkhorst.
The feet rest on the wheelchair.
That's how Luella Binkhorst Hunter
somebody flopped them down.
That's exactly what happened with her in a very good rest home up in Delaware. It was the exact same scene, exact same story, and of course, you watch these people in the rest homes, they tend to go pity-pat if they're in a wheelchair to try to hasten themselves along.
Right.
And I don't think Luella was doing it, but Luella, again, she did not, she was not using her footrests. She was not propelling herself by the rails on the wheels.
No, because a lot of them could be there. You'll see them, they'd have the feet danged up, and they'd be using their feet, and they would also hang on the rail, and they would pull that chair along and blow down the hallway.
Yeah, well, that's what happened. Yeah, and so, that's I'm not surprised that's probably a more common thing than you hear about, frankly.
Because she'd been sitting there with Mom and Dad and that, and Aunt Margaret, and she'd been sitting in the chair, rolling back, pushing herself back and forth, kind of like doing a rocking thing, only she was doing it with her feet.
Yep.
And they'd even been outside in the patio area and that, so she and Dad could have a smoke.
Good.
And she wheeled herself back in with her feet and stuff. One of the orderlies came by and slapped the feet things down. And nobody thought in. Didn't pay attention.
Oh, that's almost a different storyline. Yes, okay.
But anyway, when it was over with, she got up to go back to her room, and she went to, and she flipped over the footpath. Having
fallen on my face here several times, I have the greatest sympathy for her. Yes, so that's why I spend a lot of time basically being wary of that happening to me.
She never got mobile after.
Well, no, she was a tough bird, and whoever had taken care of her in Florida had taken good care of her, because she could have been in far more physiologic derangement than she was when she came up here, and so whoever was taking care of her whatever doc, he needs a big old gold star for the whole sequence there toward the end. Yeah, no kidding. Because that can be a difficult process to manage. It really can be. Because it's so easy to knock somebody out of fluid balance either way.
I got to with the doctor and Margaret taking.
Well, Margaret was
at home.
Well, Margaret was insane. Well, and she was insane because a lot of times she double dosed her insulin, so she ran out of the blood sugar of 40, and brains don't do well with a blood sugar of 40. Plus, she was insane to start with.
Yeah.
No, she had insane ideation to start with long before her blood sugars went low. My favorite one was the one that. Now, I'm going to go on record. When we showed up there out of the blue in the middle of February in 1982, right? Yes. She didn't know me from Adam's off Ox, and so here you boys go sleep in the same bed here in my living room. That's just fine. God bless her. God bless her. I won't say a bad word about her at all on that, but I will say that ideation that isn't compatible with reality is ideation that's not compatible with reality. And one of several of the things I did that were presented to me as like Margaret factoids were, she invented the reflectors that go down the center of the highways that, delineate, the center of the highways, Because there was that one. Then there was the other. What was the other one that was like? She was like the commandant of the Coast Guard in that area of the east coast of Florida. That was another favorite one of mine.
Yeah, the Indian River.
Yes, the Indian River Regatta, thing. Well, I know, maybe she could have had some sort of honorary thing, of course, but that got translated into like, hail fellow, up charge! And there was a whole number of things. And meanwhile, her husband, God bless him, God bless Lee, he's just out there in his shop at the side of the place, just puttering around, dealing with it. God bless him.
And running a gas station or I won.
Yeah. So it's just like, here we go. But she accepted you and me without a question asked, and I've always admired her and respected her for that. As did your family on Thanksgiving Day, 2 weeks after we first met. Yep. As does your nephew to this day.
Oh. I took her back to Florida, buried by Uncle Lee.
Well, she died up here, didn't she? Yeah. You all hauled her down, and very good.
We went down.
Now, was she in an urn, or you didn't haul a coffin down, did you?
No, she was a coffin. Dad didn't have her cremated.
Oh, so you hauled the fucking coffin down?
Truck and son shipped her down.
Oh, I thought, okay, I didn't think you put it in my truck and took her down. No. Yeah, I thought that might have been contravening some state laws. Oh, no.
Pam, Dad, Pam, Dad, and me,
Yeah.
and Hal.
Yeah.
We went.
What Lee die of? MI, big heart attack, something like that?
Who, Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a nice guy. He's kind of taciturny guys, but a lot of guys are. Certainly that generation they were. I don't think there's many guys that are as chatty as me anyway, even whatever generation. Because I'm a YouTuber. Well, how are you? I'm sorry?
My Uncle Lee was a still guy. He fixed anything.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Had to be.
Well, Margaret was a good guy too, a good girl too. If she, didn't take her insulin twice a day. I mean, take her insulin. Her other
I think
story.
that was one of Uncle Lee's problems because she was always giving him his insulin.
Oh, was he? Oh, I didn't realize he was diabetic.
Yeah, she always gave him stuff.
Oh, maybe it was like, as long as I'm giving him, I'll take a little bump too.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's, stranger things have happened. Okay. Well, see, it's the longer you know, folks, the more you find out. He's a nice guy. Well, they were all nice guys. I mean, I liked Margaret. I mean, she got, at a certain point, I can't take just idiocy, fantasy land stuff, but I do cut a lot of slack for that. I think, is that a fair thing? Would you say that's a fair?
Yeah.
Okay.
She was a trip.
Oh, well, she was fun. See, of course, the lower the blood sugar got, the more insistent she got, and of course, then that makes it the more obnoxious, and sometimes you couldn't tell whether a social evening was going to turn into a clinical evening or not, It's like, and she wasn't my patient, so I couldn't really say too much, except offer my opinion, seeing how I'm not a real.
Always having to sling him her fist on the table while she.
Yeah, no, she was. No, I'd forgotten about that. No, she was big on the banging the table to emphasize things, wasn't she? Yeah. I'd forgotten that.
Just like McKay.
Well, that's true. Yes, I mean that was the old. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to go to war with me? You want to go to war with me?
We need to go and blow so-and-so's ass away.
Yes, our friends, our friends from the
Slavicville.
Yes, the southern Slavic, Yugoslavian area. Yeah. Well, he's Serbian. I think you have to allow the Serbians a certain amount of slack on that, because I think they can't really help it. My finger's in front. My finger's in front of things. Well, there it is. It's always fun. So, Paul's gone down to collect his materials out of the dryer. So I think this is going to probably be it. He'll probably come up and then he'll go on his way. I tried to talk about some stuff that might perhaps solve my problem, his problem, but I didn't get any response, and so I've known him long enough now to know that if you don't get any response, then you have to just sort of wait to see what may or may not happen in any case. But having a little bit of black box wine there for the Hillbilly Select Reviews. Pinot Noir, I've enjoyed that. So we'll see here. Yeah, it's like just another standard day here. Yeah, you all know whose hand that is. Yep. Okay, without getting back into that morass, I'll say bye-bye, YouTubers.